Hello everybody, Mr. Pilgrim here, coming at you with the fourth video in our Platinum Trophy guide for Dolmen. In the last video we were here in the power plant area and fought the Pharaoh Nightmare ending Act 2. Now there is one last thing I will show you guys in this area. You can run right to it, but I highly recommend doing this before leaving the area, as there is 2 drillers that we can now find, as well as the second secret area of the game, and I do believe it is the last secret area. So after beating the boss, you can come back to this area and come over here to this little door right here. You can come inside, find a bunch of boxes and things to break. As you'll see, one of those little guys got in. But coming in here and coming inside, you can come down this little elevator here that'll take you to the secret area. Do note it's a very short area, so it's not too big, and you don't have to worry about any loading screens. But right here is the area. It is called the Secret Grove. As you'll find more boxes to break, of course. But coming over here, you'll see in this building here, you have, once again, more boxes. But over here, as you'll see, there's a hole in the wall behind all these boxes that you can break. And in here is the area. Now, as you'll see, you've entered the Secret Grove. This will get you your next trophy of the game, and here you can find driller number 7, or sorry, driller number 6 and driller number 7, as you'll see right here. And that is it. So now we can head back and finally head to the next area of the game. So I'm gonna cut to that now, just to save on some time. Alright, so if you guys just head back out the way you came from the power plant, you can just follow the path that I take, and this will lead us to the next area. A lot of running, for sure, in this video, but do bear with me. So coming outside here, you can roll past all of these machines, or have them simply moving. But if you come over here to this door, this will head to, or lead to, the next main area of the game. Don't know why they gotta follow so hard, but they do. Now from here, this left path actually leads to the Vahani excavations, and then this right path is the path that you want to take right here. So, as always, you'll just follow this path, and this will lead us to the next beacon that you can activate.
The Zone Council decided the risk of a nikiderma invasion is greater than the Dolmen's technological potential to prevent.
So, from the beacon, if you actually follow the path and come outside, I'm not sure why it won't let me back in, but if you follow the path that I take, this will lead you to driller number 8. Now after this, we only have one more driller that we'll need to find, which is pretty cool. But anyways, if you follow this path that I take, this will keep you out of the hazardous materials. Do note, you can fight the giant squid in this area. It is, I guess, weak to frost. But anyways, if we come over here and walk through the horrible, mysterious liquid that does tick damage to you when you're walking in it and or rolling in it, as you'll see. go. But once you are through, you can then come into this building over here. And follow the path that I take to find the driller. Like always, I've gone through and killed all of the enemies to make this easier for you guys to follow. This path is pretty straightforward. There's not too many ways to get lost or any side areas to explore. But coming up here and through this door, you will find him chilling on this railing right here. Now we can make the driller pickaxe. Now I'm actually going to go all the way back down there just to save myself some time and trouble. So I'll see you there. Alright, so from here you can follow the main path and head into this area here. There aren't any enemies in this next area, so you don't have to worry about that. There is another beacon though, so do keep that in mind. But coming in here, you can just follow this path off to the left over here. Follow this up and around. And as you can already hear, the next beacon is right here. Now, one thing I highly recommend doing is just going back and farming any bosses that you might feel like you want to do. Especially while you have the Dolmen fragments. Because you never know when you might need some new elemental weapons or items. So, yeah. I definitely recommend probably farming the Pharaoh Nightmare for the new Plague pistol that it gives. As well as crafting and upgrading any armor as well. And then making sure you have the stats for the gear. So I'll see you back here. Alright, as you guys can see, I've gone and done some boss grinding. And made the driller axe that we got recently, as well as the acid gun from the Pharaoh Nightmare. Now, this path is pretty straightforward and will lead us to the next boss. This boss will probably be a tough boss for some people, but I believe in you guys, and I'm going to be showing it off. Now, as always, I highly recommend going into this boss without any, you know, currency or a lot of dolmen fragments, just to make sure that if you do die twice in a row without getting them back, it's not so bad. But once you're ready, you can head through the door and the cutscene will start. As you can see, I've already gone through it. This boss is a very aggressive boss, so keeping stamina topped off is key here. I highly recommend just going for 1 or 2 attacks whenever you get the chance. Now, with the weapon that you have, or weapon that I'm using right now, as you can see, we can get a stagger on him every single time that he's not affected by it, as you'll see it right there. Do be careful, as later on he will start comboing attacks into 2s. And he can also teleport right behind you. Now, using the weapon I'm going for, I highly recommend just going for 1 attack or so. That attack he just did, I highly recommend dodging close to him. As you can see right there, he timed a 2 combo attack. That attack can one-shot you, so do be careful of it. He also has this dash attack that he really likes to combo into 2 attacks. Now, he'll have this disappearing attack. I highly recommend just waiting a second and then rolling. You can kind of get some poke damage using your pistol. Now, if you're looking for a time to heal, it's best whenever he dodges behind you and then does a double attack, of course. You can also kind of bait him into going behind you because of your gun, so just keep that in mind. As you can see, once you get more familiar with his attacks and how aggressive he can be, it really does make it easier to know when to go in for attacks and when not to. As you can see, I did not, and I got hit. As you can see, though, I still ended up taking some damage. Not trying to get one shot this late into the fight, though. But that will do it. Now, afterwards, you will automatically be teleported inside. There isn't anything of importance out here, so don't worry about missing anything once it happens, though. Pretty tough fight if you're not sure on how aggressive to be. But once you're inside...
there are signs of combat here. The drillers didn't stand a chance. What did they do here exactly?
The lab is the brain of the entire installation. They create forms of maximizing the installation's potential with technology and experiments.
What kind of experiments?
I guess we're going to find out.
Anyways, once the dialogue's done, you can then come in and find your next beacon, and from here I can show you guys where to go to get to the next boss. Alright, if you'll follow the path that I take, this will lead you to the next area, in the new area, so to speak. So coming into this path just next to the beacon, there'll be some boxes in here and things, and a couple of new enemies introduced in this area. But there is a lot of walking. But coming in here through this door, we'll just come through this area. This is where you'll find the first new type enemy. It'll be the only one in this room, of course, until you learn it. But continuing on, we can proceed through this door right here, head up these stairs, and come off here over to the right. Now over here in this area is where you'll get introduced to a second version of that new enemy that's much tougher and bigger. Coming in through this giant door here, I highly recommend just coming over along the left side. Coming up this little walkway here, and you'll have two switches that you'll need to interact with. They'll both open some doors for you, and then if you want to, you can come over here to this room. And in here you can find your next beacon. That's all that's really in there. But now if we actually head back the way we came, we can lead or head to the next or continuation of the main path. So from here we can basically head over here to where this door that was previously locked will now be unlocked for us. As you'll see right here, you can now head through, and through this door you'll enter this giant area with a couple or a lot of enemies that you'll have to fight and deal with. But don't worry, you can lure most of them into one-on-ones or at least one-on-twos, and it should be pretty easy from there. Following this path around, you'll come to some debris that will lead down. And here, if you turn over to the left, you'll find a button to interact with. And then if you double back and then come over here, this will be the door that you can head through that is now unlocked. Now in here, follow this path that I take. Do be wary of 2 ambushes in this hallway here. But coming in here, you can, there's nothing in this big room. But coming on through, as you can see, still more doors to walk through. You'll eventually come to this T section, and you'll come here off to the right. To the left is just a side area with a couple of things to grab. But now we can head to the next area here through this elevator. So from the elevator, you'll come into this room here. Heading through this left door will lead you to your next beacon, as you can see right there. So from this beacon, if you just head back the way you came, I'll show you how to get to the next boss. This area is filled with a bunch of side rooms and, you know, just dead ends that lead to nothing and are just mainly for getting more nanites and also getting more materials. And there are also a new enemy type introduced, these weird shadow monsters that like to jump behind you and grab you, stealing a lot of your HP and then getting buffed. So yeah, I don't know what's going on with this guy. He's just not ever attacking. He'll just stand there and not really do anything. Oh, now he's finally doing something. Anyways, once you make it to that T section, if you come here off to the right, there'll be a couple more of the shadow enemies that will attack you and try and ambush you. But you can fight them one-on-one, so do keep that in mind. But coming here through this door, then through this door here, then through this door here, you'll see we've made it to the boss room. Now, depending on things, I would actually recommend switching to the Star Julian Greatsword. You'll lose 51 damage, however, the great thing about this weapon is it gives you enough to get the battery recovers 50% more energy if you're also using the headpiece for the driller tier 2. This should give you enough. I recommend this weapon as I feel like the actual pickaxe is a little bit slower in attacks, but I could be wrong. Alright, but once you are finally ready to step in and face the boss, you can. I will say this is a very aggressive boss, so healing is going to be pretty hard to do, as well as the later half having more projectile-based attacks. And sometimes him jumping at you can also have some pretty questionable hitboxes at times. But as you'll see at the start of the match, he will automatically jump at you, giving you at least a free hit. Going to try and recover my nanites real quick. Alright, as you can see, trying to heal can be a bit of a pain, as he really does not want to let you, but you can bait him into running into objects. So, the main things that I like to do when doing this fight, of course, once I can heal. There we go, now that we've baited an attack. Alright, so how I like to do it is bait this stab attack. Obviously, time the dodge for his second attack a little bit later. And that is the main combo you can try and go for. Now, the more you do this, you'll get the timing just right for it. Do note eventually he will have a little power up. Like so. So now his ranged attacks have projectiles. Or his one attack can be ranged. Do be careful, as it can actually one-shot you. It's a little ridiculous. And he also recovers from certain attacks a lot quicker. As you can see, there's the ranged attacks. Like I said, stamina management is key here. Just going to get a quick heal off and a recharge. Also making sure you have plenty of space to dodge these keys as well. But as you can see, we're almost there. And just like that, you will kill lobodja.
I gained access to her research. The doctor went crazy, injected herself with all the byproducts of her research. With the intention of preserving it, she became something abominable.
I got that. We won't be having any help from her.
You're on your own, Commander.
Great.
But from here, we can now head to the next beacon and be on our way. So from here, as I'm sure you can hear, right here we have the next beacon. But as always, this is where I'm going to be ending the video. Like I said, trying to keep it to 2 bosses is probably going to be key for me here. But as always, this has been Mr. Pilgrim. I do hope that these videos and guides are helpful as always, and I will see you all in the next video.